It is 6:38 right now, and 10 of the nation's largest mortgage services have signed off on an $8.5 billion deal that will resolve foreclosure abuse claims that date all the way back to 2009.
And millions of Americans could be affected. And for more, we're joined now by Jill Schlesinger from CBS Moneywatch.com. She's up in New York for us. Hi, Jill. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
So can you break down how this settlement's going to work?
Absolutely. There are two parts. The first, banks are going to send checks to folks, about 3.8 million eligible folks. It'll be $3.3 billion. Now, who are these people? These are borrowers who were foreclosed upon in 2009 or 2010. So you might get a check, could be a couple hundred, could be in the thousands. Depends on what's going on for you. The second part, banks are going to provide over $5 billion of mortgage relief to current homeowners. That could mean lower rates or even a reduction in outstanding principal for some. Each bank's going to pay a different amount. The deal could get a lot bigger. 4 big banks haven't signed off. 2 smaller banks, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, also not part of it. So I think this deal ends up being 16 banks and closer to about $11 billion.
Well, a lot of money involved here. Do you think this deal is better for banks or for the consumers?
You know, a lot of consumer advocates I spoke to yesterday said, oh my God, this is terrible. People are just going to get a few $100. But, you know, the regulators did say that the amount could rise really up into the hundreds of thousands if you've got a weird situation, or perhaps if you were a military person who was foreclosed upon. It's definitely a welcome relief to homeowners who haven't been able to qualify for a refinancing or one of the government refinancing programs. Then again, I have to say, for the banks, this is a great deal. The money is way less than the onerous process of hiring these outside consultants to clean up the foreclosure practices. I think this settlement, along with last February's $25 billion one, really starts to put an end to much of the litigation that has arisen from the mortgage bubble and bust. And you know what I have to tell you? The banks are going to be very relieved to get this behind them.
Hey, Jill, I'm sure some folks out there are saying, I want in on that. What should they do?
Well, you don't have to do much. Eligible borrowers will receive their compensation depending on what happened to them, regardless of whether they filed a request for the review of their own foreclosures. Don't have to take any further action. You should be contacted by a payment agent by the end of March with details. We've got more information on that big mortgage deal on Moneywatch.com, so you can check it out to see if you're affected by it.
That's the place to go.
All
Jill,
right.
thanks so much.
Thanks, Jill.
Take care.